wanted to watch a little bit of the CNN coverage of the Israeli embassy shooting so we can all get an idea of what current media looks like about this.
Charges have just been unsealed in federal court here in Washington, D.C., Pamela, and I'll read you just what the documents say here at the top. Murder of these are charges that he is facing. Murder of foreign officials, causing the death of a person through the use of a firearm, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, and 2 counts of first-degree murder. These are the first federal charges now that have been filed against Elias Rodriguez, who is set to appear before a federal judge in the next few minutes. Now, this is his first appearance. We don't expect that he's going to enter a plea at this moment. And of course, this is an investigation, Pamela, as you know. This is still very early in the investigation that is still ongoing. There's still a lot more that investigators want to know about the suspect, about who he was in touch with over the last weeks and months, and whether there's anybody else who possibly could have been involved in this crime. And so those are still ongoing at this point. But clearly, over the last few hours, since last night and since the shooting deaths of these 2 people outside this event at the Capitol Jewish Museum, FBI and the Metropolitan Police here in Washington, as well as their counterparts in Chicago, have been digging into the background of Rodriguez, trying to make sure they know everything about him. And so these are the initial charges that we anticipate. There might still be more. One of the things that, of course, you heard from the Attorney General, you heard from FBI officials. One of the things they're focused on in particular is the hate crime aspect and anti-Semitism, clearly because he targeted this event that was being held by a Jewish organization here in Washington, D.C. So you can expect that they're going to keep pursuing that angle of this incident, and so it's quite possible that these charges may not be the final word on these charges that the suspect faces. Pamela?
All right, Evan, stand by for us. I'm going to bring back in Ellie and Catherine. You just heard Evan lay out that DOJ charged Elias Rodriguez with federal murder charges in connection with the death of those 2 Israeli embassy staffers. And Ellie, Evan noted that these are just initial charges and that there could be more. Tell us a little bit more about that, what your reaction is to these charges and why it takes time usually before a hate crime charge could be brought.
Yeah, so this all makes perfect sense. You start with the murder charge, you start with the firearms charges that we talked about because they're the most straightforward, because you don't necessarily at this point, just a few hours after the murder, have to prove the motive in order to bring those straightforward murder and firearms charges. This is just step 1. These charges will, in all likelihood, be contained in what we called a criminal complaint. Now, that'll be followed at some point in the coming weeks by an indictment. And at that point, that'll have given DOJ and FBI more time to investigate, to look into the motives and the planning. And I fully expect by that point, as Evan just said, they're looking at hate crimes. It certainly seems that hate crimes charges will be justified here. And we've seen FBI officials reference the possibility of terrorism charges. But I think it's a common and smart approach. You get the murder charges on the books. You get the firearms charges on the books. That's enough to arrest this individual. That will certainly be enough to keep him locked up with no bail. And then you work on the more complicated motive-based charges over the coming days and weeks.
What stands out to you, Catherine? Also help us understand the difference of a murder of foreign officials. That's one of the charges here. What that actually means, what the significance that carries.
Yeah, I think it's obviously there's the political implications of it, right? We have to be very careful to make sure that foreigners who are coming to our country are safe. Our responsibility, at the federal level, state and local level, is.
You got to love the universe that we live in, where CNN can spin this story as we need to make sure that our international people are safe. Meanwhile, we have a country that just deports anyone and everyone for pro-Palestinian speech.
Is not just to our citizens, it's to anybody who's on our soil. And when we create a situation...
Or having a tattoo.
Here, where people don't feel safe to come, it has its own ramifications, whether they're political or commercial. But more importantly, I think it creates a fear amongst the community, a fear amongst the people living in our own country that we can't keep people safe. And we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to assure people that we can keep them safe.
Evan Perez, to bring you back in, you have more information, right?
All right. I got a good... well, you know what? Let's hear a little bit more. but I'm preparing the next part.
That's
of the
right, Pamela.
story.
Now, going through the complaint here that's been filed in federal court, one of the things that stands out, we heard last night from the D.C. police that the suspect, after allegedly carrying
Put this on the docket, by the way.
out the shooting, stayed on the scene, went into the Jewish Museum. And so according to police, once they arrived at the scene, they actually went inside and started looking for witnesses to try to talk to Rodriguez, allegedly, according to this complaint, actually approached the officers and spoke to them and said, "I did it," and said, "I did it for Free Palestine." And one of the things that you learn in this, according to prosecutors, is that the suspect, was outside, was noticed by some witnesses who believed that he was acting suspiciously. But the idea that after carrying out the shooting, he stayed on the scene, didn't go anywhere, went inside the museum and waited for police to come in and try to talk to witnesses. Again, it really gives you a sense of that he was obviously wanted to be caught and wanted to make his statement, as he did to the officers who ended up arresting him at that scene. Pamela.
Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Let me see this. Pam Bondi vows prosecution to the full extent of the law for killing Israeli diplomats.
And what I'm afraid is that Free Palestine is becoming the new Allah Akbar. These kids don't understand what they've been chanting. They've been having these keffiyehs on, but there are certain members, it appears, that are becoming radical. What do our intelligence agents know about that, and what are we going to do to crack down on that? Should be the objective of the administration this morning, Brian.
The new Allahu Akbar is Free Palestine.
Yeah, I mean, it looks random, but it doesn't look like the event is random. He knew where to find Jewish Americans or Jews, and that's why he went. Number two is immediately
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
you have to worry about other embassies, other sites. I know Ambassador Danny Danon is going to be on with us shortly. Governor Huckabee also, now Ambassador Huckabee in Israel, has got to worry about all Israeli and U.S. embassies around the world. And I know we're going to respond to that pretty strongly. But I do say this, I think it's also noteworthy that immediately, this is a hands-on administration. Judge Jeanine Pirro was on the scene to go see exactly what happened, what led to it. So you don't need second or third-hand accounts, Ainsley.
Right. We know with her at the helm, this will be taken care of. That guy, if he is convicted, he'll be locked up for a very long time, if not worse. The event was hosted by the American Jewish Committee, the AJC. It was for young Jewish professionals in foreign policy. And here's the irony. They were there to hear a panel discussion focused on finding humanitarian solutions for Gaza. So if you have a problem with what's happening in the war between Israel and Hamas, why would the solution be to...
I like how with Fox News, there's literally no way of knowing if they're lying about things because it's fucking Fox News. We're working tirelessly for a ceasefire. Realistically, not working at all for a ceasefire.
come to America and shoot two individuals who happen to just be from Israel and representing Israel. Let's bring in Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon. He is with us this morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I know you posted yesterday on X or in the middle of the night, you said the shooting was a depraved act of anti-Semitic terrorism, harming diplomats, and the Jewish community is crossing a red line. We are confident that the U.S. authorities will take strong action against those responsible for this criminal act. That's in part what you wrote. So what do you want the U.S. authorities to do?
Well, we expect actions, not only declarations. You know, I trust our allies that they will take actions against this guy who committed this horrific crime.
I fucking hate this guy.
But it's not enough. We need to look at the incitement. You know, we have spoken about it in the past, what's happening today on campuses. You know, chanting, death to Israel, death to the Jewish people. You know, Jewish students are not safe anymore. That must stop. You know, I believe that the universities became the place where you have the incitement spread all over. And not only on campuses. I can tell you at the United Nations, only this week, we heard UN official blaming Israel for committing a genocide, for killing 14,000 Palestinian babies. Horrible lies spread out, and I think we have to fight the incitement, not only the terrorists who commit those crimes.
You know, Mr. Ambassador, some of the hostages that were held said that there was some communication between the people that are on these college campuses in these groups and Hamas. We hear the stuff that they've been saying on the college, calling for a global intifada. Do you worry that our ignorance to what was happening on the college campus has now turned to terror? Do you have any
Ignorance. I like how they're calling it ignorance when they did nothing but 24/7 coverage of college campuses for months now?
intelligence from your side that you have shared with the United States that says these are dangerous hotbeds that we have just allowed to roam our streets?
We are sharing all the intelligence we have with our counterparts in DC, and I agree with you. You know, it's all connected. It's pure hate. When you hear the Iranian leaders inciting to destroy the Jewish nation, the Jewish people, and then you hear those chanting on campuses, and you see that the leadership of the universities, they sit idly by. They ignore it. Well, if you ignore it, that's what happened last night. You allow those crazy lunatics taking actions against innocent Americans, you know, who came to learn about diplomacy. Today, it was not an attack against us. It was an attack against the American values. And I'm sure that our partners will know how to fight it and how to make sure that the Jews will feel safe again in the U.S.
Okay. I desperately feel the need to specify the fact that all of the news outlets saying that this was a random Jewish man and ignoring the fact that it was an Israeli embassy and then ignoring, choosing actively to ignore the heinous shit that this guy said that shows that he is pro killing babies. Contrary to the bogus claims at the UN, there is enough food in Gaza for a long period of time if Hamas lets civilians have it. Meanwhile, we have reports right now about how there is a hunger crisis. Israel maintains minimal aid deliveries to Gaza amid hunger crisis. UN and doctors warn that the volume of aid supplies for Gaza residents is insufficient following an 11-week blockade. Aid agencies have continued to criticize Israel after announcing it had sent a small convoy of trucks carrying vital supplies into Gaza. His LinkedIn shows his link to the Heritage Foundation as well. Like, what I want to specify here is that murder of civilians can be bad without whitewashing who they are. We can look at the fact that he said these horrible pro-genocidal statements about Palestinians and say this murder was wrong. Why are we whitewashing everything that he's done and said? Why are we pretending like his only crime was being Jewish and that it's not like he actively ran defense for Israel, that it's not that he actively attempted to pretend like there isn't a hunger crisis, pretend like there aren't hundreds of thousands of people suffering in Gaza because of Israel's actions? Why does it have to be that this attack was against him for being Jewish and instead of what, him being pro the state of Israel committing a genocide? He wasn't even Jewish, by the way. Well, no, not exactly. From my readings on the guy, he's Messianic Jewish, which means that I think his dad is Jewish and his mom is Christian, but he's Christian, self-proclaimed Christian. His dad was Jewish, and I'm not going to do the like, what percentage of Jewish are you, whether or not you're Jewish, et cetera, et cetera. What I am going to say is that he described himself as a Christian. Israel is the only place where the only place in the Middle East where Christians can thrive. Not perfect, but livable, speaking as a Christian myself. As for the rest of the Middle East, I would say it depends in what direction the Muslim world develops, more moderate or more fundamentalist. He proclaimed himself as a Christian first when discussing the Middle East before describing himself as Jewish. His dad, again, was a Messianic Jew, but that's neither here nor there, because what matters is his comments on Israel and his comments on Gaza and his comments on the Palestinian people, not the fact that he was Jewish or not. Like, why can't we just have accurate reporting on this? Why can't mainstream media ever just do genuine reporting on a story and just actually say, oh yeah, this person. Now, it's hard to say whether or not he was targeted for his beliefs on Gaza or he was targeted for his beliefs on Israel, or if he was targeted because the shooter believed him to be Jewish. But we have a lot of motives here that we think can happen or can explain the reason why this happened. Why can't we condemn the violence and also be responsible with the reporting and actually report on the fact that he's said that there is no starvation problem in Gaza and it's all actually Hamas's fault. And all of this is Hamas's fault. And obviously you guys already know my perspective, besides the fact that, like, don't Fed post. I also don't think activities that hurt the Palestinian cause should be encouraged. And I don't think that anyone should encourage violence that would worsen the situation in Gaza. So of course I have to condemn this because it's inexcusable. Even just looking at the impacts that it will have for both Jewish people and for Palestinians, Gazans, Muslims, like, it will have a negative rippling impact on a lot of people. I'm not going to engage with any false flag claims. Listen, the shooter can defend himself in court, and we can go from there. I don't think that it's a good decision to go in that direction. You guys are welcome to have whatever opinions and beliefs you have, and that's fine. That's just where I'm standing here. More important than all of this, I think, is that we should remind people that if we could have a shred of the same coverage that we got here for any Gazans ever, this genocide wouldn't be happening anymore. Like, it's fucking crazy to me. It's actually fucking crazy to me that we get insane coverage for the death of 2 people, which is good. We should have coverage on violent acts that are committed, and we should denounce those violent acts when they are not fair, when they are not righteous, whatever. But can you imagine CNN or Fox News ever giving a shred of this type of coverage? Just like a fraction of a fraction of the outrage to the genocide in Gaza. Is it not insane that hundreds of thousands of people can die in Gaza and we get like, oh, the number is up. Yeah, they killed a few 10 more thousand people. Anyways, moving on. And when it comes to pro-Israel voices that die, we have to ring all the alarm bells, blame Hassan Piker for anti-Semitism. We have to call out the anti-Semitism in America. We have to go even harder on Gaza and commit even more terrorism on the people in Gaza. What's insane is, like, some people might argue, okay, well, yeah, but these are Americans. Americans don't expect to be killed on American soil for speech. Can you imagine if we got this level of coverage for the Muslim people that have been murdered? The most notable instance was the Muslim boy and his mom that were stabbed by their landlord tens of times in an actual hate crime. I believe it was in Florida. Let me double check. U.S. man gets 53 years for fatally stabbing Palestinian American child. Is this Hamas? Is this Hamas to us? In Chicago. Hamas is here in Chicago, and this is what it looks like. Illinois landlord who fatally stabbed a 6-year-old Palestinian American boy and severely wounded his mother has been sentenced to 53 years in prison. Can you imagine if we had like a shred of coverage, a shred of the same coverage for a 6-year-old getting stabbed in the United States for the crime of being brown? Can you imagine if we had any policy change because of this? The story is barely covered nationally. I don't even know if Fox News issued any statements about this. But guess what? Fox News has plenty of time to talk about this because we need to crack down on anti-Semitism. We need to give more money to Israel so that they can bomb Gaza because we need to eradicate the terrorists. It doesn't matter how many children we kill. We have to do that. But this is also why viewers are like fleeing mainstream media and like mainstream news in general. It's because the people are realizing that the coverage of these things is not fair. It's not reasonable. It's not actually calling out the aggressors in these contexts. It's not calling out the fact that this is, 9/11 was blowback. This is blowback. You can be against the death of innocent civilians who did not actively contribute to any war crimes. You can be against the civilian deaths that happen here in the United States and also recognize that this is happening because people see fucking headlines talking about how Israel is so happy that the U.S. didn't demand that they have a ceasefire. Guys, let's see what the AI profile picture account has to say. It's a story that's several years old and the guy is going to die in prison. You think some demented 70-year-old man is setting trends? How can you say this when Donald Trump literally exists? How can you write this sentence out when Donald Trump literally exists? Like, what world do you live in? Genuinely, I don't understand what world you can possibly live in where you can make this statement when there have been at least 2 demented 70-year-old men in power that have, in fact, set trends. What exactly don't you understand? You're talking about the killer or Trump? I'm talking about how your sentence doesn't make any sense. Do you think some 70-year-old man is setting trends? Yes, I think a 70-year-old man can set trends. I don't think it matters whether or not they're demented or not demented. If Fox News can do it with Trump, I think Fox News can do it with this guy. He doesn't even have shouldn't even be afforded I'm not going to go there. It's fine. It's fine. Sorry, just like, it's so infuriating to me that like we can have a total lack of empathy for hate crimes that occur on one side of the aisle. Because I can look at these people who died and say, at these 2 who died at the Israeli embassy and say, yeah, this was an action of violence that I can condemn, if only because it hurts everybody involved. It hurts Jewish people. It hurts Muslim people. It hurts Gaza. It hurts Palestinians. It does not help anyone. But there are people ghoulish enough that they see this and they're like, did you consider that nobody cares about this story? Did you consider that no one cares? Like, dude, you're fried. Like, you're actually fried. You're cooked, man. You're cooked. Look at this guy. Those 2 died because of the rhetoric you put out. Please send me a quote of the rhetoric that would suggest to anyone that I would endorse this. Please. I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. You put a hit on someone and then lecture us about empathy. Dude, you got to show your ass less. You have to show your ass less. You mean the clip that Asmongold initially thought was about him, then later found out wasn't about him, and then later said that I was obviously joking?
I saw a clip of a streamer doing a 30K bounty on you, didn't get banned. Yeah, but she did that. She was joking around, and also...
Can you just do any research first? But it wasn't about him, was it? Right? Do you know what the terms of the demand were? Chatter? Of this hit? Yes, we've all seen it repeatedly. Okay, then you should be able to quote it. Go ahead, quote it. Take someone out for 30K, I believe. Well, clearly you haven't seen it. The full clip, which you've never seen and are now showing your ass for it, is me pulling up a tweet that said 20K to make this guy disappear on Twitter and saying, this guy's fucking joking. Here, do you want to see another joke that's obviously a joke? 30K to make this guy disappear. But you have to make Eve from Stellar Blade's boobs really big, at least a cup size bigger. And then you can collect the 30K. And then everyone on the internet feigned moral outrage. And then months later, Asmon was like, okay, well, yeah, I did rewatch the clip and see that she did say the boob thing. You can't collect the 30K unless you make this video game character's boobs really big.
A streamer doing a 30K bounty on you, didn't get banned. Yeah, but she did that. She was joking around, and also...
But she was joking around. Show us. Show me the clip that I allege I've seen millions of times before. Go ahead. Make it about Trump. Make it about... Yes, streamer, do you want to make a joke about Donald Trump in a time where we're sending as many people as we can to El Salvador fucking concentration labor camps? What? You don't want to make that joke. What? Show us the courage of your convictions. So you admit then that you didn't see the clip, and now instead of being a grown-up, being an adult for once in your life and saying, okay, I didn't realize you were joking. I realize now that you were joking. That's my bad. You instead want to talk about whether or not you can make jokes about the president, in which case I'll just pull up this clip for you.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Did you know that it's illegal to say I want to kill the president of the United States of America? It's illegal. It's a federal offense. It's one of the only sentences that you're not allowed to say. Now, it was okay for me to say it right then because I was just telling you that it's illegal to say I want to kill the president of the United States of America.
Real one, dude. You should add this video from Taylor Lorenz to that docket. Somebody needs to do it from Taylor Lorenz, dude. Fuck. I saw Taylor also getting canceled for the same shit I got canceled for talking about cancer, talking about Biden's cancer. I saw multiple clips of me being like, I think we can all agree here. This is the one instance where we would be on the side of cancer. And then everyone's like, how could you say that about Biden? How could you say that? This is the most messed up thing I've ever heard in my life. And then I saw Taylor Lorenz say the same thing minutes later. I was like, and then she got Omega Giga canceled for it. Oh my God. Next on this, I actually wanted to show the clip that I think basically everybody else has seen at this point.
But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly. But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Dude, wait. Guys, oh no. I figured this guy was just like an average. Sorry, really quickly going back. Let's close this saga. I figured that this guy was just like an average Asmongold fan, which to be honest, I should have known better because there's no LOL usage in here and Asmongold chatters are LOL users, right? But, and also this part was like kind of threw me off a little bit. This part, wait, where is it? But it wasn't about him, was it? I was like, that's weird. Someone in chat, you guys, typing in this chat is scary. Typing in this chat room is scary. I would be so scared to type in this chat room. You guys are so mean. Because someone told me that this guy has a Twitter account with the same name and the same shitty AI profile pictures. And guys, it's bad. He's a Grums fan. Oh no. Guys, he's a Debbie Chan fan. No, dude. Oh, no. You don't understand. I need my cat girl fetish milk. Okay, I need it. Crumbs. Everybody loves crumbs. Making fun of this chatter feels like it should be some form of bigotry. Making fun of someone this pathetic feels like it should be a form of bigotry. I'm not sure what, but like this guy clearly has nothing else going for them. All right, moving on. You guys can play with your food. I'm not going to interact with this chatter anymore. Anyways, this is fucking crazy. Hassan needs to sue the ADL for defamation. He needs to sue the Anti-Defamation League. I'm not even joking. Like, I kind of agree. I'm not even joking. I agree. He honestly should. Dude, what's wrong with these chatters today? What's wrong with them? Why is Denims crashing out? Denims chill, Unk chill, Denims chill, Unk. More of a gamer than a journalist, more of a gamer than a journalist, LOL. More of a gamer than a journalist. Why is Denims crashing out? Chill, Unk, chill. How are you gonna win? Oh my God, dude. You guys can play with your food on that one as well. All right. Enjoy. A few free pets for you guys, all right? You guys have been so good. Why not? Why not a couple pets just for the love of the game? Okay, also, this post. New copy pasta. Denims, chill, Unk, chill. Sorry, this post. If you really believe this, you wouldn't brand your harshest critics Zionists or pro-Zionism haphazardly. I've seen firsthand how reputations can be harmed by you, referring to me as a fascist on your broadcast several times without explanation. Words mean things. Also, sorry, talking about how words mean things when like this guy is literally saying that Hassan engages in genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people without evidence or proof after weeks, months, years of these same people saying you can't use genocide willy-nilly. Genocide is something that's very specific. And now against their critics are happy to call things genocidal. It's just like, it's very poetic to talk about words meaning things. But then when you talk in the reply of a guy calling someone else a genocidal rhetoric enjoyer with completely baselessly. But anywho, what the fuck is this reply? I have no idea about anything you do other than the fact that you host a review show, love drama, and look like a rotund German boy who dropped his lollipop on the ground. Which, by the way, I didn't know that Nicholas Eat Oreo has something that he currently hosts called the Ultimate Review. Also, dude, you have to love people who use AI profile pictures or VTuber profile pictures or like these like shitty drawings because you don't want to show their... This is fucked up, dude. This is fucked up, man. Oh my god, dude. There isn't that much more that I can say about this story. The story's still unfolding. All we know about it is that the shooter, the alleged gunman, Elias Rodriguez, shouted "Free Palestine." We don't know if he targeted the people that he targeted with intent. We don't know anything about him. We don't know enough about the victims. We don't know enough about the story. There isn't that much more that I can talk about. Sorry, I just had the Akira moment of remembering what that Fox News host said. Free Palestine is now the kids' new Allahu Akbar. Oh, God. All right. Wasn't there a manifesto you supposedly released? Yeah, but I'm not interested in reading that because the last time I tried to read something and denounce it multiple times, I got banned. Okay? So I don't know what Twitch's policies are now, so I'm just not going to do that. Hassan read it yesterday. Listen, I'll let Hassan take the ban, okay? I did see highlights of it, and yeah, I don't want to... Gotta be careful. I hear the word Hasbara is anti-Semitic now. Yeah. Did you see the interview with someone who supposedly talked to the shooter after it happened before he was arrested? I am skeptical. I'm skeptical. Just because the story is unfolding and it's so new that it's hard to tell how much of the stuff is accurate and how much of the stuff isn't accurate. That's my only concern. Also, smaller streamers will get more scrutiny, chat. I mean, I did eat a month ban for a tier list. Dude, if I knew I was going to get banned anyways, at the end of that segment, I really wanted to say Free Palestine at the end of the tier list segment. It was like, anything else you want to say? And I chose not to say that because I was like, I don't want to get all these other people banned because I want to say what I want to say. And it would be mean if I said Free Palestine and then everyone else here got banned for a month or whatever, or 2 months or however long. God forbid permaban, so I didn't. And it's like, damn, if I knew I was going to get banned anyways, I should have just fucking said it, dude. I don't care about me getting banned. That's not the part that sucks. The part that sucks is getting other people banned, right? That feels like shit. So if I knew I was going to get banned anyways over perceived anti-Semitism, over hallucinated anti-Semitism that didn't exist in that fucking tier list, I fucking should have done it anyways. But anyways, let me pull this up one sec. This one.
Deadly shooting here in D.C. of those 2 Israeli embassy staffers. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra joins me now live in our D.C. studio. Patrick, you've been following this since it happened late last night. What can you tell us?
Well, right now, Elias Rodriguez is in federal court right here in Washington. They are reading charges against him. Meantime, we have unearthed some old video from Scripps News at the time called Newsy. This is video from 2018. It turns out that Scripps News actually interviewed what appears to be Elias Rodriguez. At the time, he was speaking out about a plan to build an Amazon headquarters in the Chicago area. FBI has said that Rodriguez is from the Chicago area and, in fact, has searched an address today inside Chicago. So this video shows us that he was politically active many years ago, even 2018. This is a group at the time he was with called the Answer Coalition. We reached out to them and they said, to clarify, he is not part of the Answer Coalition, but they said it appears he attended Answer Coalition protests in 2017. Again, this video from Scripps News at the time called Newsy is from 2018, but appears to be Elias Rodriguez. Again, any moment now we should learn exactly what the charges are against him, but he is the one accused of being a single gunman killing Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram as they exited the Capitol Jewish Museum last night, 9:08 p.m. inside Washington. All day long, the FBI trying to piece together exactly what happened here. They said that they have interviewed him, but when he was arrested, and there's the video of that arrest taking place inside the museum, he was saying, "Free, free Palestine." We have the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, saying that it is clear to her that this is anti-Semitism and a result of hate speech.
I like how it can't possibly be that these people, at the very least, that the man who got shot and killed potentially was murdered for his opinions on Gaza and Israel, and that it had to be because he was Jewish, even though he proclaimed himself as Christian. Like, it's just so crazy to me that any time that we've just completely conflated anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. Also, someone else linked this as well. Israeli soldiers fire in air to disperse Western diplomats in the West Bank. The event in Jenin, the Israeli-occupied West Bank, came amid rising tensions between Israel and its foreign partners. Israeli soldiers fired warning shots on Wednesday to disperse a group of senior Western diplomats, Palestinian officials, and journalists as they toured a Palestinian city in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. But according to statements by the Israeli military and the Palestinian Authority and television footage from the scene, no one was reportedly injured, but the event itself intensified the friction between Israel and its foreign partners amid growing international criticism of Israel's conduct in Gaza and the West Bank. 2 days ago. You guys don't understand. The IDF is allowed to kill and shoot and kill whoever they want, wherever they want. The conflation is nothing more than the plan of the U.S. government to suppress pro-Palestinian speech/action. This guy single-handedly is going to get the First Amendment gone. No, it's been gone. Since the Mahmoud Khalil case, it's been gone. I mean, the U.S. government has basically admitted that he didn't actually endorse any specific terrorist activity or engage in any terrorist activity, but that his words were against U.S. foreign policy, and that's why we are deporting him. So they've already destroyed the First Amendment. We've crossed the Rubicon. This is not the thing that made us cross it. Did you see the new footage? Yeah. Speaking of which, I did see the new footage of Mahmoud Khalil's arrest. Well, detainment. I don't know if you would even call it an arrest. Where, by the way, they allege that they had to take him in the way that they took him in because he was fighting them and he was resisting arrest and he was not cooperating. And then lo and behold, we see the footage of the actual detainment. And yeah, I did see the footage of him actually being detained, and he was participating the entire time and he was cooperating the entire time. Which is I don't even know what to say at that point. Or we're just rewriting reality. He was literally just standing outside. Yeah. Maybe I can find it. Wait. Yeah, actually I found it. Here we go. Didn't take that long. Here's the actual video that was released. Wow, what a shock. He's not fighting at all. The team believes that what's seen contradicts the government's argument that Khalil was a flight risk, which justified detainment without an arrest warrant. Whoa, so scary. Look, he's laughing at me. He's laughing at me with a terrorist smile and a terrorist laugh. He's thinking about attacking me right now with terrorist activities. Look, right now he's looking on his terrorist phone. You can see this is Hamas calendar. He's on Hamas phone right now. You can see he's thinking about Hamas. You can see this is obvious to anyone who can. Yep. As you can see, he's standing there Hamasly. He just look, you can see this from this video. He just threatened this guy with, now Hamas sympathizers might say handing him an ID, handing the official his ID, but no, I don't think so. I think he was threatening him with a knife. As you can see, it's very sharp. He looks at it a little to verify the sharpness of the sword before looking at it, the terrorist Hamas sword. And then he just tried to stab the guy, as you can see. Very clear from the footage, very clear. Woke media tried to censor this, not to protect the pigs in clothing, but to censor out the sword that we would have all seen otherwise. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't wait to see like mainstream media and like Fox News actually pull one of these on that video.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it. I know they're going to do it, dude. Just give them some time.